Um, I'm hopeful that Mr. Rowland and his department can provide the board and CAC with further information from the districts that they have consulted with. I recognize that frequently school district websites may not share the pertinent, or may not be up to date, or include the information that people are looking for. So I'm hoping that there would be further information that you can find from these different districts, preferably in writing, that could be shared with us regarding the comments in the FCMAT report. I'm pleased to see progress on some of the items that were listed, some that I had concerns about, and I understand the parents' concerns and recognize it's law that the transportation be decided in the IEP, and the IEPs must include parents in the decision-making process. In regards to the question about 2 addresses for parents in certain family situations, while we may not be able to deliver to 2 different home addresses, is it possible to deliver students to 2 different school addresses? For example, on Monday and Wednesday, drop-off might be at Woodside, and Tuesday and Thursday drop-off might be at Walnut Acres. And I'm just so could you consider that possibly, or because that's not home to home, it's home to school. And then I want to share that I understand that change is difficult, and I recognize that our special education parents have students with special needs. I'm being redundant here while I'm saying this. We parents who've never had a special needs child have never had to walk in the shoes of those parents, and therefore we may not completely understand their concerns around the transportation issue, and I'm suspecting that the transportation concern and the change is more about drop-off time at the end of the school day than at the beginning of the school day. But I'm sure I will receive email from special education parents to the contrary if I've misstated this. So I'm hoping that we will have continual reports about implementation, and that the board will provide direction to staff as is necessary. I know that the special education parents want us to create a board policy, but I want to say that we do not have a board policy around the current practices. Those have developed over time, and let's give staff a little bit of time to work with it and collaborate with all of us and see if we can come up with practices that will accommodate and please almost everyone. We'll never have 100% satisfaction. I've come to believe in my wisdom that that's never possible. But let's continue the dialogue, and hopefully we will I know we will ensure student safety while we're undergoing this process.
I could just add one more piece on that, and I appreciate your picking up on the public comment sections, is the idea of how it's being factored in that I've heard from a parent tonight, but other parents as well, is transporting kids from home to the cluster stop, and how that is being looked into and how that will occur, because I know it's been brought up about economic situations, and I appreciate Ms. Mayo saying that not everybody's always going to be happy and get everything they want. But to factor in this, I don't know how we're doing it, and I would be curious to know how we're factoring in the piece of getting the student with special needs from home to the cluster stop, and how that's occurring in the IEP. So at some, near future time, I think that would be good to address that as well. How that's being considered and factored, or information gathered on that.
I do want to say that I appreciate the emails I've received from parents. Ms. Lambert, I did not receive yours for some reason. It's not in my email, so if you could please resend it to me, I would appreciate that. I have read the FCMAT report and am doing some research on my own and looking at some things, and I have, whereas may not have come out this evening, I did ask Mr. Rowland some questions earlier for this, and much of those are the same that Ms. Mayo has reiterated today, so I think that you guys will get, hopefully we'll get the information available to everyone. I do, as a board member, take it very seriously that we want to have, make sure our students are safe are safe so that they can feel safe and comfortable in the schools when they get there, so that they can get the most out of the learning opportunity that's available to them. And I'm hoping that as this is reviewed, some of the complaints that we have received in the past about students spending longer times on buses or getting to classrooms late could also be minimized, so that students can be in classroom for a longer period, for the right amount of time. Anything else from board members? Thank you. I'm going to request that we do a 5-minute recess here.